Whether it be farming in-game bosses, leveling new characters, digging away at Delve, you just never seem to have enough currency, right? You load up your favorite Path of Exile streamer, take a look at their stash, and see endless wealth of mirrors and exalts, and it can't be your fault, right? Obviously, they're just getting handouts from their viewers, and Chris Wilson himself is directly buffing their drop rates, and... well, actually, I'm sure that does happen on occasion. However, on average, the reason the streamers have more currency than you do, and thus have more fun, is a couple of reasons. We're going to go over some of those, and we're going to teach you how to become Mr. Moneybags yourself, as well as obtain infinite belly rubs from Mr. Kadiro Perandus. Warning, I do not condone letting Kadiro belly rub you, as his hands have a tendency to wander to your pockets. I am not responsible in any way for any loss of funds sustained from engaging in any way with Kadiro Perandus. You have been warned. Remember, if you want to earn infinite wealth in Path of Exile, like this video and subscribe to my YouTube channel. It lets me know you enjoy the content I make and allows me to see what kind of video you want to see in the future. Also, don't forget you can catch me live on Twitch occasionally throughout the week, normally on the weekends. Links to everything are in the description below this video. Without further ado, the reason that your farming sucks is you are being inefficient. When you're running around raid class, do you find yourself picking up every single wisdom scroll, portal scroll, every single rare item, taking the time to identify them, realizing all of them are trash, and then continuing this cycle ad nauseum? This is the first and most important thing I can teach you today. If you take nothing else from this video, remember this. Do not waste your time picking up every item. Most items are completely worthless and absolutely not worth your time. I know the temptation of that juicy rare with all perfect T1 rolls is tempting, but let me be frank. I've played this game for 10 plus years and I have only one time, in the entire time playing this game, ever picked up a rare off the ground that was so exceptional that it sold for an exalt or more. One time. They were top tier armor boots with perfect move speed, T1 life, T1 resist, and an open slot for crafting. This is not going to happen to you almost ever. Now that isn't to say that you shouldn't pick up rares, and that leads into my next point. Use a loot filter with proper settings. There are many filters out there, but one of the most modular, easy to use, and easy to customize ones is from Neversink of filterblade.xyz. The website itself explains to you many of the different reasons to use certain strictness settings, and they have a ton of customizable options available. You can change the color, the sounds, you can have Mathel moaning at you, you can have all kinds of different things. I recommend that if you're in maps and trying to make currency, listen to the advice it gives in the details section under strictness. The info is there, you just have to seek it out. I can't give you exact reasons to pick what level of strictness. You have to look at the details that are listed there and see what works out best for your situation. A few quick pointers about loot filters and what to pick up before we move on. Invest in a portal gem and stop picking up portal scrolls. This will make your life easier almost instantly. And stop picking up wisdom scrolls and start picking up transmutation orbs. Transmutation orbs sell for 4 wisdom scrolls each. Make sure the filter that you've got highlights them and start picking them up instead. Alternatively, you can buy either of those things. Now the next most important thing about efficiency is less important for some people, but it may help you to keep your ever-shortening attention span focused for just a little tiny bit longer. Having a dump tab. Warning, pay-to-win features being discussed. One of the easiest ways to increase your productivity is to load up a map, pick up what items you want, come back to your stash tab and just straight up dump everything in there without even looking at it. And you are picking up only the stuff I told you about, right? Okay, good. Now, for this, I highly suggest a quad stash tab, if you can afford it. And if you can't get one of those, just line up 4 tabs and designate them as your dump tabs. If you also don't have 4 tabs available, then I suggest you spend some more time thinking about your current situation in life and why you desire to cause yourself so much pain. After you fill that dump tab, and you need a break from grinding those maps, you can start working on clearing it out by using the handy search function at the bottom to filter out certain things. You can search for uniques, 6 sockets, currency, fossils, divination cards, basically whatever you want. Develop a system and figure out what lets you get through it fastest. At the same time, you can be doing any trading, or you can buy any items that you need to. You can get a lot of things accomplished. You can take a break for water, you can remind your loved ones that you're alive, you can go out and see the sun for the first time in multiple days. You know, important stuff. Farming the wrong areas and knowing what to look for. In general, mapping is going to be the main place that breaks or builds your headhunter budget. But beyond mapping itself, which I'll make a completely separate video about, there are a few other places that you can go at different points in the league to farm up those sweet exalts and get the headhunter that you've been dreaming about. A couple quick tips about mapping. As I said, this will be an entire video itself, but I'll give you a few things to start with. First, focus on getting to higher tier maps. The drops in higher tier maps are infinitely better than the ones in low tier maps. If you can get to red maps, and you can sustain red maps, do them. Second, invest currency into rolling those maps, but not too much currency. Let me explain. What it means is that you should use transmutes and augments on your white maps, you should alch your yellow and above maps, and chisel your red and above maps. If you happen to chisel and alch a red map and the modifiers aren't really that great, you can vol the map, and in general, you'll get pretty good results. You may get a couple mods that you can't do, but save those for a later character. Third thing, look for modifiers that add additional monsters to your map, such as additional rares or additional magic monsters. Finally, when looking at the rarity and quantity of items dropping from the map, quantity is by far more important than rarity. Remember that rarity does not affect currency drops in any way whatsoever, quantity does. Moving on, the most important thing you need to know when deciding where to farm is what is currently worth a lot of currency. You're probably asking, Big Ducks, how the hell am I supposed to know what to farm? I'm just a lowly peasant who doesn't understand the ever-changing market of poe.trade. It's too difficult for me. Alright, so here's what you do. There is a wonderful resource called poe.ninja that will answer a lot of these questions for you. You load up the website and take a look at the options on the left. Let's choose Delve for the purpose of this example. Looking through fossils, you can see that the main fossil that is the moneymaker is this corroded fossil right here. The ones above it aren't really target farmable, and sanctifieds are, but they're only behind fractured walls, which makes them a little bit harder to find. You can refer to this infographic for where you can farm each individual fossil. Pause the video if you need more time. Now remember, you can do this with any section of poe.ninja, it doesn't need to just be Delve. Maybe look and see what divination cards are popping off on the charts right now and farm the maps that they drop in. You can do a lot of stuff like this. Congratulations, you've become infinitely more efficient. But Big Ducks, I hate Delve, mapping, and myself, and have a masochistic streak that needs stroking. What do I do? Oh well, there is one other option. Farming the Labyrinth. So you really want to farm Uberlab, huh? You really want to make that mistake? Honestly, Uberlab is one of the most profitable things that you can do in Path of Exile, especially early on in the league, but to be quite honest, it's also one of the most boring things, in my opinion, that you can do. However, because I'm a man of the people, I'm going to give you some information on how to farm the Labyrinth and what to look for. Load up poelab.com and take a look at today's layout for Uberlab. Generally, if you scroll down a bit, there will be an explanation on whether or not the layout today is worth running. If it looks good enough, go ahead and load on into the game and get started. There's two things to focus on when running Uberlab: treasure chest keys and dark shrines. You should focus on maximizing the amount of these that you're able to obtain per run, as they will massively influence the return you get. Once you finish up a run, there are a few things to do. Open up all the chests, and decide on what you'd like to enchant. So remember, you're going to have to bring these items with you before you enter the lab, so keep that in mind. You are able to access your stash, but you can't trade, you can't get anything from outside and come back in. So at this point, you can either enchant helmets. If you do, I'd suggest looking up what ability enchantments are popular and going off of that. Some suggestions on unique helmets would be like a Sarkanja's or maybe a Devoto's. Alternatively, you can use a high-level base white item, meaning like 86 eye level or higher, on maybe a Hubris Circlet or something like that. Or you can enchant boots. You can either find good rares, white base types, or popular uniques. Frankly, if you want to make consistent currency, boot enchants are the way to go. You can do helmet enchants if you like, but the market for them is insanely volatile, and you are likely to lose money in the long run. Say Mathel makes a build, and that build is super popular for about a week, and you go up to farm this enchantment, and by the time that you get it, Mathel's not playing that build anymore, and it's died off, so it's not worth anything. And that's going to be it. If there was anything I missed and you want to see more information about it in another video, let me know in the comments, or come ask me on my Twitch stream, normally on the weekends. Another option is joining my Discord to get with me right away. Links to all of that and more, as always, are in the description below. Thanks for watching, thanks for listening, and I'll see you next time.